Welcome to my channel Academy IS. Today I am going to start the first chapter of the class 12th book Social Change in India. It is the first chapter is structural change in India. So we'll look at how this what is the story of structural change in India. See, the structural change of modern India is a narrative of how British colonialism fundamentally reshaped nation's political, economics, and social landscape, often in a deeply paradoxical ways. Structures is something much more bigger, something much more deeper. So here the cause of structural change is British colonialism and it reshaped the nations, the countries, the India's politicals, economics, and social landscape very deeply. Okay, so let's see the arrival of a unique rule, colonialism. While India had been ruled by many groups in the past, British colonialism was a story apart because of its sheer scale and intensity. Unlike earlier pre-capitalist conquerors who simply could tribute without interfering into local economy, the British established a capitalist system that directly interferes with India's economic base to ensure maximum profit for Britons. If you have read modern history, you must have remembered that all the Britishers comes with the purpose of business, but ultimately main motive becomes to rule. Others, Europeans comes to India for the business purpose, they do the business activities and so go back to the land. But the Britishers do find something others reasons. So they want to rule here. So they started making changes, and these changes make a big impact on our socio-economics and political aspect. So the Britishers, it is the Britishers who established a capitalist system that still exists today, that directly interferes with India's economic base to ensure maximum profit of Britain's. The motive of the capitalist system is always to make the maximum profit. Whoever will run the capital systems, the motive is to gain, have the maximum profit. So Britishers capitalist system motive was to make maximum profit for the Britain because they are coming from the Britain. So and reshaping the land, economic and policy changes. So see, policy is something that make a big impact, impact on the larger section of the society, larger peoples of the society. So that's why the importance of policy comes. So they bring changes and even make new policies that reshaped this land in other ways. Obviously, their motive was for their own benefit. To fuel British capitalism, colonial state introduced deep-seated changes. What are the changes? Legal and land changes. Uh, they altered the land ownership laws and dictated which crops would be grown. For example, they cleared vast forests to start tea plantations, that is the commercial crops, and tea is something that Britons need because it is the cold countries, right? So for their own benefit, they cut the tree and started tree plantations. The tea industry examples, because Assam was sparsely populated, the Britons forcibly imported thousands of laborers from regions like present-day Jharkhand to work under harsh indenture contrast. They are importing slavers from the other regions. Forest tax new laws change the lives of pastoralists. Pastoralism is who do the grazing activities. Okay, by preventing them from entering traditional foregoing grounds for their scatters. So they are actually maybe their motives or something others, that they want the forest for their benefit and don't, then they don't even want to give the access to the resources uh, of the people living there. Okay, when they come to the land, and then now they are started banishing the people of this land from using those resources. So this is the mindset of these colonialist peoples. Independent India shift after 1947 is Indian leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru pushed for rapid industrializations and a strong public sector to overcome colonial poverty and achieve social equity. So these are the things that did happened by the Britishers, and after the independence, the leaders, the national leaders, obviously they think about these issues. Then they started uh, taking some initiatives to reduce it, to throw out it. Okay. Uh, uh, so what they did, they pushed for rapid industrialization and strong public sector to overcome colonial poverty and achieve social equity. Because Jawaharlal Nehru have thought that it is the industrialization that can make our economy much more stronger, and public sectors can give much more securities and other facilities. The tale of two cities, urbanizations and industrializations. So two shifts, the urbanizations and industrializations. These are the two major shifts that happens during that period. So what are the impact happened? Okay, in the West, industrializations lead to people's moving from villages to cities. Industries is all about job, employment opportunities comes. So industry settled in the cities, not in the village. So people migrated from village to the cities. And India, the story was different. What was the story? Deindustrialization has happened. In the name of industrializations, deindustrializations happened. How? The importations of cheap European clothes destroys traditional village industries like handlooms, forcing artisans back into the agriculture. What what was happened that it was the Britishers want to make the profit always. Okay, so they started importing of cheap European clothes. At the times, European clothes was much cheaper than our countries. So it destroys the traditional village industries like handlooms and artisans. So so the peoples in our land who used to practice this manufactured activities, they they lost their job, and now they go back. So to maintain their livelihood, to have some then money, then they have to do some economic activity there. What they can go, they go to the agriculture. So, what happened in the name of industrializations by the Britishers? Actually, what happened? Deindustrializations happened. The people of our land, uh, they go back to the agriculture. New coastal cities, while old urban centers declined, new cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, and Chennai emerged as prime links to the global market. The cities which are based near the sea coast, it is very easy to connect to the outer world. Um, so the new coastal cities do developed, and that's why so we can see the how big uh, how big these cities nowadays, because it is near the coastal areas, and because of the access of the seas they have much more resources and facilities these cities get. Divided cities, these colonial cities were split into a European town with full infrastructures, water, electricity, and a neglected native town. When the business activity started growing in these coastal cities, and the businessmen and these colonials one started living there, they making big full facility infrastructures in those cities, focusing on this because they are living there, and at the same time they are neglecting the native towns, other malls that are near, that are not uh, that much near to the sea or resourceful enough. Okay, that is the native towns, that is the village ones, that is in the where the tribal peoples lived. So as they don't find any profit there, they neglect, and these cities become much more uh, bigger, and it is, and what say, it is also makes some kind of regional inequalities. Hmm. That one's regions becoming much more richer, and the others less resourceful ones, or the um those the people of these regions will become poorer one. So regional inequalities also grow. A people in motion, social impact. So as the urbanizations and industrializations do happen, it makes some social impacts. What are the social impacts? Let's see. Colonialism set people's moving across vast distance. Industrializations means urbanizations, because industry will set up in the urban areas, and it will lead to the migration of the peoples from village to the city. Migrations professionals from the Bengals and Madras moved across India for government jobs, while thousands of indentured laborers were shipped to distant land like Africa and the Americans to work on plantations. Who have that professions, better professions, such as lawyers, teachers, some merchants. They used to travel India, and who don't have any such skills and other things. What they do, they went were shipped to distant land, and it was sent by the um, Britishers, because Britishers have the larger base of colonialisms. It is not just India. They started colonizing around the world. So in Africa, we can say that the mining activities, for the mining activities, they need some strong hard worker persons, and in India, so those person was much available. Especially you can see in the Jharkhand, in some areas of West Bengal as well, and in others tribal areas. This yeah, this kind of people will live. Education paradox: the British introduced Western educations to create a class of Indians to help them rule. See, uh, to run their machinery, they need some. See, run the machinery. They need the clerk, the staff, the officers, and who will do this work? Then this person should be well educated, some skill to on right. So they introduced the education system. And instead, what happened? This class used the ideas of liberalism and freedoms to develop their nationalist consciousness and challenge British rule. So, in this education system, some good intellect peoples, when they come into the contact of this um, knowledge and and the global ideas, um, they started challenging the British rules because the consciousness, because they understand what is going on in these countries, how they are exploiting them, and they feel the kind of nationalism, national consciousness to develop, and it gives them the ideas of liberalisms and freedoms. And this concept first took birth in Bengal, where which is called the land of highly intellect peoples from that national freedom struggle itself, where the Raja Ramondo, Ishachandra Vidyasagars, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Rabindranath Tagore, this highly intellect peoples so were belongs to the times period, and especially the Raja Rammohn Roy, um, who just think about the ideas of liberalism and freedoms, making social reforms, challenging British rules. Um, so all this happened. So that's why there's some kind of paradox is happening. Britishers introduced with some purpose, and Indians who get into this education system, they got some other ideas, and it bring some changes. Social reform: the 19th century saw movement to end social evils because of this introduction of the education system. To end social evils like soti, child marriage, caste discriminations, the soti, Raja Raman Roy, child marriage, Isha Chandra Vidyasagor, caste discriminations is about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So these are all highly intellect persons mixing modern Western ideas with interpretation of traditional literatures. Because yes, they have understood the Indian's context and Western and understood the Western ideas that what is better and what is happening in their land. Next is the seat of democracy, political reform. Uh, so it happened. The seat of democracy, political reform. It happens only after the independence, when the Britishers was forced to leave this country land. Okay, so these constitutions bonds from the nationalist struggle. The Indian constitution is established core value of sovereignty, socialism, secularism, and democracy. See, if you have read, I will suggest to have revise the modern history and the first chapter of making of the Constitution of India, where we find this word sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic. So just uh, revised the meaning of these words. That will be sovereign is all about means no no one will allow to rule us. We are own rulers. Socialism means they will think about the social welfare. Secularisms, no such particular religions. Democracy is all about the people. The Panchayat, there are significant political reform like 73rd and 74th Amendment happened because on decentralizations, there was a need for decentralizations from the center to the grassroots and reserving one third of the seats in the local bodies for women and ensuring representation of scheduled castes and tribes. It happened in 1992 and 93. So once they feel that this government and other things uh, not to be at the hand of the center only or at the central or state power. There should be some local government where the people will run their government machinery or will participate in the government machineries for their own government and whereas there will be reservations of the seats for the backward ones, that is the women and the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes, so for the equal presentations of the socially and economically backward caste and gender. A competing interest. Today, democracy is a site where different interest groups from farmers' union to industrial confederations uh, all are set within this framework of the constitutions. So, in this way, the our constitutions makes and democracy established, and we are in this free nation. So, this is all for today. I hope this is covered in a very short details and lucent way. I already covered one chapter, that is changes in rural society. This is from same book, and then the link is given in the descriptions and in these channels. I will cover all the topics here, so do subscribe and notifications and share with someone who may need it. So that's all. Thanks for today.